Hello and welcome to Life with Jane. Today we are going to be making a Victoria sandwich. This is a traditional cake recipe that is the basis of an awful lot of cakes. As I say, it's called a Victoria sandwich. Traditionally it was put together with jam. I'm just making a single layer, and I'm probably not going to be putting, I might put it together with some icing, we'll have to see. I'm not quite sure yet. I've just softened some butter in a bowl, so we need 8 ounces of butter, and then to that we're going to put 8 ounces of sugar. So this is just standard granulated sugar, and we just need to put 8 spoonfuls. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. As you know, I always use my spoon, and that's what I've always used. You can use scales if you want to. I occasionally use scales, but not very often. So what we need to do now is we are going to cream this in together. So we just need to mix it all in. Now I just need to take my knife, and I'm just going to take this off of here because I don't think we want it all on the spoon. That's where I was trying to soften the butter a bit. You can do what they call an all-in-one method, which is you put the all the ingredients in together, and then with a mixer you mix it up. Now I'm just doing this, as I say, I'm doing the whole lot just with a wooden spoon to just show that you don't have to have all of the fancy gadgets. If you think when it was originally made you wouldn't have had all of the fancy gadgets. So as I say, you just need to mix it all in together, and I'm just going to take it and give it a good old mix in together. Now if you were doing it in a mixer, you would do it until the butter turned sort of really white. It's not essential, you don't have to, as long as you've got everything well mixed in, and by the time we've finished it will all be mixed in really well. So I'm just taking this off of here again, and it's quite a, although it's sunny outside, it's still quite a it's not a warm day yet, so although I don't know by the time you get to see this, I'm not sure. So I've now just got something to put my eggs in, so I am just going to, let's move that across to here for a minute. I'm just going to crack the eggs one at a time. We want 4 eggs, so this recipe is 8, 8, 8 and 4 eggs. Now you don't have to do 8, 8, 8 and 4 eggs. You can do 6, 6, 6 and 3 eggs. I'm just going to put my egg in, and we're just going to mix the first egg in. So yes, so you can do the smallest amount really is a 4. So 4, 4, 4 and 2 eggs. I'm doing an 8, 8, 8 and 4 eggs only because I bought some eggs with my shopping last week and I still had some eggs to eat up. So you can see that I am just beating in this egg so I can beat them up one at a time, and you can see it's now going, your butter and everything is turning whiter as we whip it up together. And as I say, you can use an electric mixer and do it that way. As I say, I'm quite happy doing it by hand. So that's 1 egg. Okay, so now we're going to get the next egg. So I'm cracking each one because the eggs aren't, if I've literally just bought them, then I don't tend to. If I've had them a few days, then I will, because it means that you don't, if you happen to have what we call a bad egg, so an egg that was, you know, not good, and you put it in, you'd have wasted all your mixture. So it's that old rule of baking from a long time ago. So if you think when people used to do a lot of baking, sorry, my arm's getting a bit stiff now. When people used to do a lot of baking, they would do everything by hand, and they would get eggs fresh from the chickens, but again, you'd occasionally get a bad egg. So it was the rule that you would always break your eggs separately and then put them in. And again, you know, things have changed over time. Our eggs aren't, even though they are fresh, they're not as fresh as they used to be. Oh dear, I've got some shell in that one. That wasn't very good, was it? Right, let's try and, that's because I was nattering away. Need to get a little spoon, don't I, and get that shell out. So yes, eggs used to be, if you can still get your eggs fresh from the farm, then that's the best way of getting them. If you are like me and have to rely on the supermarket, then, you know, I don't know how fresh the eggs are, even though they say they're fresh. They're not quite, you know, they could be, I don't know how old these days. It's one of those things, isn't it? You always sort of think, what we used to have always seemed to be, stay fresher for a lot longer and last a lot longer. But you know, times change and we have to change with them. And you know, I have a microwave, I have an air fryer, I have a kettle that I just plug in, and so, you know, we do change things. I do have a range because I absolutely love my range. Right, that's the last egg is going in now. So that's our 4 eggs. And as I say, by adding them one at a time, you know that you haven't got a chance of there being a problem with any of them. And these are lovely eggs anyway. You can see beautiful yellow yolks. So you need to mix that all up. Okay, so that's my 8. And as you're doing this, obviously you're introducing air to it, which will mean that your recipe will be lovely and light when it goes in. Now, this is the time where you can add things. So if you wanted a chocolate cake, you would add some cocoa powder and then take that off of the flour. So we're going to add 8 ounces of flour, but if we wanted it to be a chocolate cake, we would add 7 ounces and an ounce of cocoa powder. But I'm just going to make a plain one. And again, vanilla. If you've got, I haven't got any vanilla at the moment. So 1, need to count, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, that's my 8, and I have this gorgeous, let me show you. Okay, now this is original Bakelite on the top. I've had this jar, I've got several of them for, they belonged to my mother. So again, it's something that I've had because they're glass, they store beautifully. Now this, we want to try and incorporate this without whipping it up too much, because you don't want to, we're trying to make sure that we keep as much air as we can in it. So I'm not doing a heavy beating motion, I'm doing a fold and turn, fold and turn. So it means that, yes, we want everything to be incorporated, but we don't want it to be, we want to still keep the air in it. So we need to turn it round as we go and just keep scraping the bits off the side, the bits off of the bottom. You can see the sort of the air coming through. There we go. Now, we could, as I say, add some vanilla. I haven't got any vanilla, I've run out of vanilla, so mine's literally just going to be a plain sponge. I could add some cherries, but I think I'm going to have it as it is, because I might just do some lemon drizzle or something like that on it. Oh, actually, talking about that, I know what I could do. I've just thought, talking about lemon. Right, let me just get my grater out, put that to one side for a minute, and I bought some lemons, and they are, if you're using your zest, you need unwaxed lemons. So I am going to, I need a knife to, and scissors to cut this open. And get my lemon out. Okay, so I am going to, I just fancied a bit of the lemon on there. Right, let's use the lid and let's take this, and I'm literally, what you need to do is to just turn it round, because you want to make sure that you're getting the yellow part. You don't want to get the white part, because the white part is the pith and it's bitter. But you want to get as much as you can, and then it'll make it a nice lemon cake. Didn't think about that. As I say, traditionally a Victoria sponge is just plain with lemon, but throwing it down on the floor. Sorry if I've just shaken the camera. I'm trying to do it this way so you can see it, and I just rolled it on the floor, and then we'll use this and do a nice little lemon drizzle over the top. I think will work quite nicely. But this, as I say, is a Victoria sandwich, but with a bit of a twist, because I haven't got any vanilla, so I'm going to have it as a bit of a lemon one. That'll do. Okay, so let me just take this back in like that, and then I should be able to just take all of the lemon in on there like that, and then with this I can just go through and take the lemon out of there. It's like a crisscross thing in here. Now you can get little brushes, but I haven't got a little brush, so I'm doing it with a knife, which will work exactly the same. You can always make do with things. You don't have to buy all the gadgets and things. You can do and cook with what you've got, so that I think will be fine. We've now got some more that's come through that side like that, and then last little bit in here. There we go, that'll do. Don't need any more, I don't think. Let's just take that little bit off of there. Okay, so now I can just mix that in, and that will give it a nice subtle lemon flavour, just with the zest. Okay, Right, now we need to, I've got this is a 8-inch tin, so I need to just literally grease that a little bit so that it's not going to stick. So let me just get a little bit of butter. In fact, I can use this. I don't need to use expensive butter. Just for greasing the side of it, I'm just going to use some little bit of olive spread that I've got, and I'm just going to literally go in all the way around here. And just make sure that I've greased it all the way along the bottom and then up the sides as well. And by doing that, it won't stick. So just take it from the bottom, up the sides. The sides, as you can see, I've got a lot on the bottom, so I can use all of that up the sides. I don't need to get any more. And it's a spring form one anyway, so it's one that I can quite easily literally just take this piece off and then it just springs open. So they are very good. I've had this one quite a while, but it's the one thing you do need good pans for doing your cakes and stuff in. Okay, right, I'm just going to wipe my hands a minute. Okay, so what we need to do now is to just put our mixture in here. And as I say, you can just have some vanilla. You can put, well, as I say, you can add to it whatever you want, but it is a Victoria sandwich recipe. So the actual cake itself is always a 4-4-4-4 of all the ingredients and half the eggs. So however many ounces of dry ingredients and butter and you use half the amount of eggs. Right, just getting all of that out. I think that's about as much as I can get out of there. Get my knife again. Okay. Right, then all we need to do is to just smooth it round like that. So there's more on the outside than the middle. So in the middle you want to leave it fairly, almost like a little a dip, not a complete dip but a little dip, because then you don't want the cake to do this. If you just dip it slightly, then the cake as it rises it will stay relatively flat. So we're going to put that in the oven at gas mark 5, about 160-70 degrees centigrade, not sure on Fahrenheit, just have a look at it and see, for about 25-30 minutes, and I will be back once it's out of the oven. Hello, right, it's come out of the oven. I've let it cool and then I've cut it down the middle in half. So that's what we're doing. Sorry, there's a bit missing off the edge. As I took it out, I dropped it, but we won't do that. Worry about that too much. So in here, I've got some icing sugar, and just some butter, and I've just put that in there, and that's going to go half of it is going to go in on the middle on here, so about like that. I don't want too much on there because I'll have the rest on the top, and then I'm just going to literally spread that across. Still a little bit warm, but it won't be too bad. Can you see how it's a little bit warm where it's sort of melting just a tad? It'll be fine, but I wanted to show you before it got too late. Okay, so I've now got the other piece, and I just need to make sure that I can put that in on over the top like that. That's my piece that's missing, which, as I say, I just dropped it, so it will actually fit back in, and I can cover that with the icing. Okay, so I've got the rest of this in here, and I've added a little bit of the lemon to it, so I'm just going to take that over the top. Just empty that across, and it'll start to just move itself down. Like that. Excuse me. And then I can just take this and just take it just so it comes over the top like that. I'm just doing it so that it, I say it's a little bit warm, which is why you can see that it's melting just a bit, but it will go back to itself. And this is the bit where it was just a little bit cracked in on there, so just bringing that in over the edge. Like that. And then I can, now what I can do actually is just a little bit. You see how it's starting to run across there, which is quite nice. Now, because it's sort of a little bit soft, what I can do is I can take, I've got to see if I've got one in on here to be able to do it. I'm not sure. Yes, I have. Right, I'm going to put it, because then that will help it to dry just a tad. If I can get it out. Okay, so I'm just going to, you can see how it's just melting just a little bit on there, but I can get some just ordinary icing sugar, put a little bit in on here, over in on the top, and then I'm just going to just dust it across the top, because then where it's the little bits that have melted, once they solidify again, I've just got that little bit of dusting on there, which will just make it, there we are, and that just gives it a little bit of a, could do maybe a little bit more just on the edge. On here, as I say, that just gives a little bit, so that when the other bit starts to, there we go, when the other bit starts to dry out, it will be fine. But you can see it's a beautiful, beautiful looking cake. So I hope you enjoyed that. As always, please stay safe and well. Please be kind, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye bye.